Hello, I get asked, who's the most famous cab driver ever? Well, there's one or two well-known cabbies. Pete Shreves, who used to manage Tottenham Hotspur. Johnny Sitton, who played for Millwall, Chelsea. I think John played for Gillingham as well. He's the Orient manager. Famous for his Orient when he was manager half-time rants. Mick Hazard, who played for Spurs, Swindon and Chelsea. And Fred Haskell, who's one mastermind. He is very well known. But the most famous cab driver in my mind, you might not know, he was a black cab driver. In the film Zulu, during the Battle of Rorke's Drift, was a gentleman, I believe he was a malingerer in the infirmary. And Frederick Hitch, Victoria Cross, because of his gallantry during the battle, used to live in Chiswick Lane, West 4, from 1856 to 1915. And he distinguished himself into a Victoria Cross. So I'm very impressed with you, sir. First story today. Sometimes a cab driver doesn't want any credit for telling me a story. So we'll put this down to Dad's Defending Daughters, which is a group of cab drivers that look after, obviously, young women getting in Ubers. So he said that his mate finished the job, pulled up to the curb, and the punter in the back says, "How much is on the meter, driver?" And he said, £22. There was actually £18 on the meter. He said, "But it's £18." He said, "I know, but I've watched you wipe some bogies on the back seat." It's disgusting what some people do. And he kicked up a little bit, but he could see the driver was right. It's terrible. So he paid his fare. The second one would be from the smoking cabbie. The smoking cabbie said he was sitting at Buckingham Gate, about to turn left into the Spur Road into Buckingham Palace, when his windows were open that much. I remember when young boys were nicking bikes and going around squirting ammonia through the window, trying it in the face to nick your money. Pardon me. And he says, all of a sudden I've got Pippa Middleton hanging on this, she's like a puppy, hanging on his window. He said, I've got her fingerprints on the window. And he showed me a photo. And she said to me, "Do you know Trebek Street?" He says, "Well, of course I know Trebek Street. I'm a London cab driver." She said, "You'd be amazed at the ones that don't." So she jumped in and they got on their way. And he says, "Do you mind if I say something to you where I might wind up in the Tower of London?" She went, "Yeah, go on then." He said, "I think your face is miles better than your bum." Her bum's lovely. And she went all quiet. Then she burst out laughing. And she said, "You're quite a reasonable cab driver." He said to me that she's a proper English rose. And if she gave him the elbow, he'd be suicidal. So would I. And last of all would be me. This is one from me. I'm sitting there. I was sitting drinking tea as usual outside the Ivy. And I get free Wi-Fi. And I was watching Law and Harvey, and all of a sudden the door opened, and in gets Pierce Brosnan and his mum. And I went to him, Mr. Bond. And he went, "Blimey, people don't say that to me now." I said, "Do you fancy a game of I Spy with me?" And Pierce Brosnan went, "Yeah, all right then." No, I played I Spy with Pierce Brosnan and his mum, which was one of the greatest cab rides I've ever had. And I'll see you all soon.